Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jay McLovin. We're just doing breaking news tonight, or today, I should say. As we all know, we're going to be doing more breaking news throughout the next year or so and see how that goes. But I just want to kind of do a little quick 10-minute video just talking about the unfortunate incident that happened out with the University of Virginia. And unfortunately, the three players that were killed on the bus field trip, along with two students that were also unfortunately killed in that melee. What do we know about what happened? We know that the suspect is Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. He's 22 years old. He was a running back as a freshman on the 2018 roster. We know that one student is in good condition. One student is in critical condition. And we know that the three athletes, or the three football players that were killed, were junior receiver Lavelle Davis Jr. of Dorchester, South Carolina, junior receiver Devin Chandler of Huntersville, North Carolina, and junior defensive end linebacker Deshaun Perry of Miami. We know that the young man that is a suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones, is facing 3 counts of second-degree murder and 3 counts of using a handgun in a commission of a felony. So those are the 6 charges that he will be facing as we get closer to him to go to trial and whatnot. We know that these students and athletes were on a field trip traveling to Washington, D.C. to go attend a play as part of their class project. We know that when they were coming home, or actually I should say that while they were there, they went out to eat, they went and looked at exhibits. I mean, they were actively doing many different things. We know the suspect, Darnell Jones Jr., was among the classmates that were on this particular bus. So he was there the entire time, and the entire time he had a concealed weapon on. Now, I don't understand this. I don't know how you go throughout Washington, D.C., and you go through, the various, places that you have to go to attend these plays and whatnot. But how the hell was there no metal detectors for him to go through? Was there nothing there was he not wanted? How do they not find that this man has got a loaded weapon on him? It's crazy to me. I don't understand that. We know that in a news conference, the university multidisciplinary threat assessment team was informed in September. They were notified that the suspect Jones made a comment about having a gun on campus. So we know in September he had a gun on campus. We know that the university later found out that Jones had a misdemeanor for a concealed weapons charge back in February of 2021. So the university is aware that he had a concealed weapons misdemeanor. So they already had that. Then they had him knowing that he had a gun on campus. Now, the gun was never seen. We just had Jones' comments that he had a gun on campus. So you got a gun on campus, you got a concealed misdemeanor in 2021, February, and the university, what levels of steps are they taking? It gets better. It gets better. So the university also required him, it's required that he let them know that in 2021 he had that misdemeanor. He never let them know. He never confirmed it. So now that case is pending, or was pending, while he's on a field trip. This case is pending. No one else is pending, but later was closed because the people that he was hazing didn't want to be a part of it. Was that he had a hazing investigation going on him, and they closed it out because the participants didn't want to be or didn't want to agree to be witnesses. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't think, it takes a rocket scientist to know that if a guy has been accused of hazing, a guy failed to report that he had a misdemeanor of a concealed weapon. He has comments about having a weapon on campus, even though the weapon, I have to say that the weapon was not seen, but he made comments about it. We know that the disciplinary threat committee was notified of all of this. And yet he's on a charter bus going to DC to see a play, knowing all the information on him that they knew. Like, what are we doing? Like, seriously, what are we doing? Had that university taken the right steps, knowing back early in September when he made the comment about having a gun on campus, and they knew prior to that he had a misdemeanor concealed, and prior to that he had a hazing investigation. That should be enough to say, hey, look, guy, you're not going to be on this bus. You really aren't going to be on this university. Why is it that we as people, as student, or I shouldn't say student, but as school officials, whether it be at whatever university, why are they not taking the proper steps when they're notified about these things? For some reason, as a society, we get all the information we need, but for some reason we choose to ignore it or let it slide or let it go, to the point where 3 athletes are dead and 2 students were wounded. But we knew ahead that this guy had all these issues. It makes no sense to me. I could go back to Uvalde when the gunman was spotted way outside the school grounds, and it's on digital camera, and nobody stops him. Nobody. And then he gets into the school building, and the police officers on video are running away from it rather than fighting to help the students. At what point in the educational system, whether it be from pre-K all the way up to your last year in college, at what point are these school officials going to start paying attention to the warning signs that are out there and start protecting the students? Those 3 athletes, those 2 students should not have been put into the situation in which they were put in because the university failed to do its job. My heart goes out to all the family members of the 2 students, the 3 athletes that are no longer with us. My heart goes out to you. I am so sorry for your loss and your pain. And I hope that going forward, somebody will finally start to take up the responsibility of looking at the warning signs and start putting students ahead of all things else. It's crazy to me. I don't understand how a guy can take a concealed weapon on board a school bus and nobody knew it. I don't know how a guy all day long could travel around DC with a concealed weapon and nobody knew it. It blows my freaking mind that nobody knew it. And then he waits and he waits and he waits and he waits and he waits from the early morning hours they got on that bus until 10:15 that night when the bus pulled into the parking garage. And that's when he decides he wants to start opening up the chamber and letting the bullets fly. Folks, that's a long time to carry a concealed weapon around and then finally do what you got to do. What a coward, man. Darnell Jones Jr., Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., you are a freaking 22-year-old coward. And I hope you get everything coming to you. And I hope the school officials will start to take these things more seriously and start to ramp up their security measures so these students and these athletes from pre-K all the way up to the last year of college and then beyond. I hope these administrators start to take this more seriously and start to do their due diligence when information is given to you and it's in front of your face and you let this happen. Blows my mind. Again, hey, my thoughts go out to the families, and you can catch Unscripted tomorrow night. It's our anniversary edition. We'll be turning 2 years old, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Philly sports guy will be coming on to talk Philadelphia Eagles and Philadelphia Phillies, and I would imagine 76ers. So he'll be on the show at the beginning of the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Damian, just when you think Virginia would learn something by now from the 2007 shooting, shaking my head. And I shake my head every day. I mean, the more I see these things, and it seems like it becomes more and more randomly popular, which is sad that it's becoming popular to see these types of shootings. You just had one not even, a month ago in St. Louis, for crying out loud. I mean, it just seems like every time I turn on the news agencies, we're seeing these shows. Every time I turn on ESPN, when I turn on whatever, we just see all these shootings. And I don't understand what it takes for people to wake up and start looking at what's going on in your surroundings. And when the information is given to you and you're doing investigations and you know the guy's there and you let him on the bus, why was he not at the very least checked out, physically checked out? Like, I don't know what you got to do, man. You got a wand that you can see if he's got the gun on him before he enters onto a bus when you know the guy's got concealed carry permit issues, misdemeanors, and he's already said he had a gun on campus. He's got hazing, and you're not going to do a security check physically of him to make sure that this guy is not carrying something on the bus that he shouldn't be carrying? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. Again, I want to, from Unscripted, we want to give our condolences to the families, and we'll be praying for you. We'll be praying for the country. We'll be praying for these legislators that they'll start doing their jobs properly and be held accountable for their own actions. We're gonna be praying for you guys. Until then, man, Unscripted, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Philly Sports Guy, Tuesday, tomorrow night. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see you soon. We're out of here.